Boom. It does that sometimes. And then I have to fix that in post. Can you believe that? There we go. Have to shift my chair. Guys, tell me in the comments if we're loud and clear, for goodness sake. I have to sit up straight. It's a very conscious decision that I make not to slouch. Because, you know, what you want is your comfortable zone. Sometimes you sit and then you sort of naturally slouch. And that's never a good thing, honestly, really. Guys, do me a favor. Just go ahead and break it down for me. Tell me in the comments if we're loud and clear. I have to shift my chair. Guys, tell me in the comments if we're loud and clear, for goodness sake. Yeah, great. So what I would ask you to do, please, if you can, if you could go ahead and share this broadcast with people that you think would be interested in this conversation. I need a comb. Yeah, we should not do something. Wait. I need a comb, sorry. Namwinga. I need a comb, sorry. I can't do this without a comb. Here at Simoson, we shout. Okay? Let's just do this right here. And while I'm getting ready with this, it was Namwinga. Sorry for shouting. Sorry. I'm sorry. I need to get a comb. Bantu malanyoza malanda yota unamoneka vino chisakuro and all that. All right, just give me a moment. I'll be right back, okay? I'll be right back. Are we good? Tell me we're good. Tell me we're good. Yeah, all right, here we go. Sorry that I have to do this in front of you. You know, I should have done this earlier and I didn't. I'm so sorry. All right, guys, let's get into it. First of all, before I get into my little dissertation, I observed that Chris Brown is in trouble. Did you guys hear about this? You know, the American musician, the singer, the dancer, the songwriter, Chris Brown. You know, very famous guy. He did a very. I don't know a lot of Chris Brown songs. The only one I know is. What's it called? I forget the name. Is it intentional, or is it unbreakable? I don't know. Anyway, he's in trouble. Apparently, in 2023, he assaulted a guy in a nightclub called the Tape Club in Mayfair. You guys know where Mayfair is in London? It's an upscale, sort of uppity place. You know, the bourgeoisies of London. They hobnob at this place called the Tape Club. Well, in 2023, Chris Brown got into some type of physical altercation, and he took a bottle, allegedly, hit some musical producer in the head with a bottle mate in 2023. Now, here's the thing. Rule number one, never get in trouble on foreign soil. It's bad enough when you're in trouble on your own turf. That's bad enough. It's bad enough when you commit a crime in a country of your citizenship. But oh, honey, when you start breaking the law on foreign soil, it becomes very complicated and it becomes very spaghetti. It's intertwined, it becomes very complex. And so right now, I mean, the guy was scheduled to do several dates. All of that is now disturbed because now he's remanded in custody because the magistrate judge says that this case is so grave, we're going to have to take it somewhere else, you know. And what's the lesson? The lesson is, you know, behave, try and not brush shoulders with the law, you know, especially these stars. I don't know what they think. You know, the worst possible thing is for a star, a famous person to think that they're untouchable because they're famous, because they're known all over the world. And that's the reason you should be that much more careful, because you're a celebrity. There are lots of people that would love to see you go down, you know. So the rule is, when you get to a foreign country, behave. Okay, don't grab bottles. Okay, this is my Listerine. Okay, don't grab bottles and then hit them over the head, hit people over the head in a foreign country. Grievous bodily harm. Apparently, badi muteta. Maisho kuteta. Grievous bodily harm. Muzambe tutila occasioning grievous bodily harm. Iyoye neyo. Namuro Muzambia ila kakana assault. Judge ngambo kube ambo kulanda ti grievous bodily harm. Palina police report. Palina proper medical. Palina proper airtight testimony from the doctor. Nama witnesses opobadi. Bwana chapwa ya Gloria. It's finished. You've gone, Gloria. Now what more kubanensuku? So Chris Brown is in a bit of a pickle. He is. He's in trouble. So I don't know how that's coming. And now this is a crime. Can you believe this? A crime he committed 2 years ago, 2023, over there in Mayfair, in London. You know. So we'll see how it turns out. Oh, and by the way, speaking of stars, did you see that altercation? Well, it wasn't an altercation. It was a verbal altercation between Denzel Washington and a photographer at the Cannes Film Festival. Where is Cannes? Is that in France? Educate me, please. Tell me in the comments. The Cannes Film Festival, isn't that in France? Avez-vous entendu du bruit? J'ai vraiment soif. Qu'est-ce que tu fais? Boulangerie. That is all the French I know. Okay, right there in those few sentences, that is the only French I know. But tell me if Cannes is in France. Anyway, Denzel Washington, some photographer reached across the line and sort of touched Denzel Washington's arm, and he didn't like that. Because, you know, these stars, they don't want to be touched, and I don't blame them, okay? Because you never know. The same reason when stars sign autographs, they never take the pen with them, because that pen could have a microphone in it, it could have some type of little explosive in it, or so when they sign an autograph, immediately they give it back to the person, or they turn around. I know Tom Cruise does this, turns around, gives it to his assistant, and they never walk around with a pen given to them by a fan. Stars have to really be careful. So when this photographer reached across and touched Denzel Washington's arm, Denzel walked straight up to the guy, pointed his finger into the guy's face and said, "Don't you lay your hands on me. Don't you put your hands on me." And the photographer seemed to take it lightly. He seemed to be playful with it. You know, he was sort of mouthing that, "Come on, Denzel." But Denzel was serious. Denzel, who's usually a great guy, on that particular day, he wasn't having it. He was not. Yeah. And did you see that? Tell me in the comments if you did. Alrighty, guys. Oh, by the way, and last thing I'll talk about before I get into my main topic, and I need your help on something. I'll explain what that is, so please pay attention. And I'm serious when I say this. I really, truly do need your help, and I'll explain what that is. But before I get into that, let me just lastly say that Mulwanda has recently released a videotape where he says, look, I didn't mean I was like a real gynecologist. I'm just saying that my impact on the female, sorry, I shouldn't have done that. My impact on the female anatomy is, I don't know what he said. Mulwanda, if you didn't want to mislead your audience, all you could have said was, I have a baby, I have a new baby. That's it. You don't have to start calling yourself a gynecologist. Do you know what it takes to be a gynecologist? You are watering down that profession, okay? And he says, no, in my own right, I'm a gynecologist. No, you're not. Just because you've flown on a plane doesn't make you a pilot, okay? Do you understand that? Just because you've flown on a plane does not make you a pilot, okay? Say what it is. Don't mislead or misguide. You are not, by any stretch of the imagination, you are not a gynecologist. You are a brand new father. That's what you are. So you say that. And because you say that, the only thing we can do as members of the public, because you've publicly announced this, the only thing we can do is to say, congratulations. Congratulations. You know, welcome to the world of multiple children. Congratulations. No matter to you are a gynecologist. You've diverted the conversation now to something else. We are not now discussing the birth of your new child. Now we are discussing the profession of gynecology. Obgyn. Obs and gyn. No, don't do that. Okay. Yesterday, and I'm very serious now. Yesterday, I went to Anita. I love it when you laugh. Anita Grace Zoe. I have to stop and mention Anita Grace Zoe. Many of you come on here, and I appreciate your support. You're faithful on here. You're regulars on here, and I really appreciate you, all of you. The Bo Allens, the Joseph Chishimbas, all of you. But this lady, Anita Grace Zoe, I just love it when she laughs. And thank you, Anita Grace. Thank you. Thank you for your presence. I really, and I don't take it lightly. Thank you. So guys, yesterday, I went to Kawata police station. A police officer called me. My initial concern was that a couple of bus drivers had said to me that because Miles Sampa has sort of rallied the residents, some members of the Matera community, he had sort of incited them to sort of retaliate against me, for lack of a better word. A few bus drivers brought me some information. They said, look, we hear you're supposed to go to Matera. There are guys that are planning to maybe stone your car because they're upset about what you said. So maybe that's not a good idea to go to Matera. Maybe go to Central, and which is what I did. I went straight to Central. I spoke to an officer there, and the police there were very, very kind. They called Kawata and they said, look, Mr. Mwewa will come there, but please ensure that there is safety for everybody. Ensure that the community is safe. Ensure that there is no kerfuffle. In Zambia, we say kafwafwa. Just ensure that you maintain the peace and protect citizens. And so the officers at Central assured me that I'd be fine, there'd be no problem, and that the police in Matera would ensure that there was safety for everybody, for the community. And upon that assurance, I went to Matera. Now, as soon as I got to Matera police station, I found a cameraman inside the police precinct. I want you to listen to this. a camera guy, not with a phone, not with a little phone. He had a big, huge camera, not within the grounds of the police station, inside the building, at the reception area, specifically at the reception area of the police station. And this man was recording. Now, I know for a fact the police never allow anyone to record anything, not only on the grounds of the police, but especially within the four walls of the police station, whether it's a post, a station. Police anywhere in this country don't allow people to videotape inside, especially by the reception. They don't. It's frowned upon. And so I looked, and I see this guy with a huge big camera. And I said to him, so where are you from? The guy is a young boy. He's just a young kid. He says, oh, I'm from Bishop John General. I said, you're from where? He said, no, the bishop sent me. I said, sent you to do what? To record these proceedings. I turned to the officer. God is my witness. There was a female officer at the reception. I said to her, I said, who the hell is this? She looked at me and she said, oh, I don't know. I said, you don't know? You've got a guy with a big camera standing at your reception and he's recording us and you don't know who he is? Immediately, I remembered, and the reason I know the police frown upon this, the reason I know that anywhere you go in Zambia, when you walk into the reception area of the police station and you start recording, they don't like that. The reason I know that is because a few years ago, Cosmo Mumba had been arrested at Kanyama police post. And I went there and I took a picture of him while he was in the cells. The police officer, in fact, the officer in charge at Kanyama, this was about 5 years ago. True story, true story. The police officer at Kanyama saw me do that. Ooh, didn't he rain on me? Mr. Mwewa, what are you doing? No, I'm just photographing. Photographing what? You are not supposed to be photographing anything at this precinct. Give me your phone. Yeah, Alalizanda. In a thinking that no, nalabe fetio, I'm sorry. Kuribe, I'm sorry, Kwisa. Wakapoka bali poka idia phone idia. Kwisa njebati, can you hold this man, arrest this man, put him in the cells there. Who do you think you are, Mr. Mwewa, coming here, recording a police cell? That is unacceptable. Can I tell you that I spent the night at the police station? Do you know this? I spent the night there. For what? For photographing someone that's been held by the police. Now, fast forward to yesterday. Where in the HE double hockey sticks does a cameraman have the guts and the gall to bring in a huge, big camera? Do you know those big Panasonic cameras? The ones that you put on your shoulders? Fidefia 1980s fidia. Not and I said to him, I said, what are you doing? When the lady said, oh, I don't know who he is, very quickly the officer in charge in Matero burst in. Oh, well, Bishop, 2 minutes. Bishop, Kwisa, this is a police station. Remove that card from the camera. Kaka, what do you call that? The memory card. Baka fumia. Ba poka. Camera na yo baka pokola, ba poka. Who told you that you can come here recording this questioning of this Mr. Mwewa? Who's given you that right? Correct? No, he never need to move a bishop. Only the bishop is the one who sent me to come and photograph Mr. Mwewa when he arrives. He told me that when Mwewa arrives, you pull out the camera, start recording him. You want to record Mwewa, record him in the street. Do the way he does it. Meet him parodi paja, not muno mu police station. Uzamangiwa iwe. So they confiscated the camera, and I was interviewed by the police, and the police said to me, they said, look, we've received a complaint from John General. He feels, John Inundwe, this false prophet from Matero, he feels aggrieved that you refer to him as a false prophet. And so he says that the miracle he performed in his church, where a man that had been paralyzed for years all of a sudden miraculously stood up and started to walk. He said that he didn't like the fact that you referred to that miracle as fake. And so he's brought this complaint to you. Not only that, he's brought this complaint to us. Not only that, John Nundwe, I don't call him bishop because that insults the title of a bishop. John Nundwe came with the sampa, and the sampa is equally complaining that you referred to Matero as everything being fake. I said, officer, I'm talking about the perception of inauthenticity. That is the label that the community has. It's like referring to Chibolia as a drug-infested community. It is the perception. It is the description, the general perception of a community based upon its characteristical attributes and its traits. So the officer says, well, you know, Mao Sampa has come here as MP for Matero. He's come here as the people of Matero, and he has complained that you have disdained, you have soiled the name of the residents of Matero. I said, officer, first of all, Miles Sampa does not represent every single person in Matero. He is an elected official, but he is not the physical embodiment. He is not the physical representation. Matero does not live vicariously through Miles Sampa. He is simply an elected official that was elected into office by a group of people in Matero. It doesn't mean that every single person voted for Miles Sampa. Some voted for him, others voted against him. But the majority voted for him, but not the entire Matero. So it is erroneous. It is misleading for Miles to assume that he represents every single person in the Matero area, because some people didn't vote for him, you know. So my view, because the police asked me to make a statement, to give them my side of the story. I said, officers, my view is that it is the perception. I'm not calling everything, every single thing in Matero fake. However, I am describing it based upon its characteristical attributes. If Matero wants to change the perception, then change the behavior. If Chibolia wants people to stop referring to Chibolia as a drug-infested hub, change the way Chibolia behaves. It is the characteristical attribute and the perception thereof. That was my point. So the officer said, well, be that as it may, they have complained, and we have to warn and caution you. And our advice to you is meet with them and try and sort this thing out. Otherwise, if you don't, this matter will proceed further. I said to the officers, For me to meet with Miles and Johnny Nundwe, it would be me legitimizing the type of con scamming that John Nundwe does there in Matero. That thing of bringing a crippled person or a paralyzed person, claiming that they were paralyzed for years, praying for them in a church, and then a person all of a sudden standing up. That is a scam in the same way that it is a scam when you come across a pyramid scheme. The fuel that drives the engine of a pyramid scheme is other people's testimonials. I want you to say that in the comments. Say that in the comments. The fuel that drives the engine of a pyramid scheme is other people's testimonials. When people want to deceive you, they use someone close to you, they use someone's testimony that can come forward and they say, I invested in this scheme. I am a beneficiary of this scheme. I put in 10,000, I got back 100,000 within 2 hours. This scheme works. Other people hear that and they say, oh, so it worked for you, which means it can work for me. That is the modus operandi of scammers. In the same way, by the same token, in the same vein, these false prophets, the reason they use these fake testimonials is so that other vulnerable people can come forward. Other people who are desperate, who are standing on the brink of desperation, they come forward, and when they seek counsel from people like John Nundwe, what does he do? He charges them. So the point is, this whole thing is about money. That is the basis. That is the foundation of these papas and these false prophets. That is the foundation. If they can convince you to believe in a false miracle, and the truth is, and this is the truth is, what they do, and I've explained this to you before, they've done it. There's not, the Word of God says, the Bible says, there's nothing new under the sun. The trickery that is being conducted here is the same trickery they do in America, you know, with these papas. Is that they simply, in fact, in some places in America, the so-called papa has an earpiece in his ear, and there's an usher talking to members of the congregation, and then there's someone relaying that information to that papa, and then the papa is just standing in front of the church saying, is there a Susan Beale here? Susan Beale? How did he know my name? Well, he knew your name because the ushers earlier were talking to you. And then they fed that information to the transmitter, who's the person who's running the scam, and they feed the information into the papa's ears. And the papa stands in front of the congregation. Is there a Susan Beale? Susan Beale! I'm Susan Beale! You have given the usher, they ask you, so, you know, everything okay with you? Yeah, I'm okay. I came to the service because, you know, I've got a backache and I've come for prayer. They feed that information to the papa in the earpiece. Susan Beale, the Lord is speaking to me. Thus saith the Lord, you have a back problem. How did you know that? God speaks to me, girl. He does. Come on over here and let's pray for you. The whole essence is to get money from you. Now, mwewa, do you believe in the Word of God? Absolutely. Do you believe in miracles? Absolutely. Do you believe in the vicarious work of Christ? Oh, absolutely. But I don't believe in circus theology. I don't believe in crooks. I don't believe in con men. I don't believe in these vagabonds and these scammers. I don't believe in them. Okay? Let's be clear. So, what the these people like John Nundwe, what they do is that they get someone who the community is not immediately familiar with. They won't get someone from down the road, because that person they get from down the road, he's got relatives, he's got friends, he's got colleagues, people that can say, so they have to get someone from some far, sometimes, and I've said this before, I'll say it again, and I'll not stop saying it. Sometimes they go as far as Malawi to get some obscure person to come here and say, no, I'm crippled. Now, when you do an investigation, which these scammers, they don't like investigation. They don't like for you to dig deeper. They don't like that. What they want you to accept is that video they posted on Facebook. Just accept it. Ali lemana, tuamu pepela, apola, chapa. Oh, so don't ask. You are full of doubt. The devil is in your heart for asking that. Don't ask that question. Oh, no medical report. Don't ask. Oh, don't ask where the parents live. Oh, so don't ask where he went to school. Just accept that we posted a video, we prayed for him, he's now healed. Ivovama question here. Do you see how much of a scam it is? The moment you begin to ask deep questions, who's this man? What's his name? Where does he live? How long has he been paralyzed? Which hospital did he go to where he was treated? And then eventually he was brought. They don't like those questions. They don't. So my request to you, I'm asking you, anyone that knows any information about that man, that video is it's everywhere. It's on Mwewa, Zambia Reports. You can clearly see that man's face. And I keep saying to you, we are people that live in communities. If there's anyone out there, and I mean this when I say this to you, anybody out there that knows who this man is, that knows his whereabouts, please tell me. I'd like to talk to that man. Anybody that knows anything about his relatives, his family, his friends, I'd like to talk to that man. This was a scam designed to deceive John Nundwe's followers into legitimizing a scam so that he can get more money and more followers, and so that he can charge you more money when he says, Bwera tipange, Bwera tikumane. It's all a money game. And in the same way that a scammer who solicits money from you using crooked means, in the same way that that is a crime, it is also a crime to use false so-called miracles to deceive the general public. That, my brothers and sisters, is wrong. So, you guys know where I am. I'm in Simoson Building. My number, you know my number. Anyone that has any information, his name, where he lives, who he is, he's a human being. He's not some fleeting angel that flew through here and left and went back to celestial heaven. No, he's a member of a community somewhere. Somewhere. And somebody knows him. Remember, there are 6 degrees of separation between all of us. All of us know someone that knows someone that knows someone that knows that person. It's called the 6 degrees of separation. Okay. Thanks for watching. You know where I am. I'm not apologizing for this one. We're going to take this one to the end. We will go where the evidence takes us. Thanks for watching. Bye.